family coming over, something come on from that type of genre, and you can just let play is Mandalorian. I think that's the only one that's even in the category in that genre. I'm trying to think if there's something else, but I think Game of Thrones is there,
right? But kids can't be around when Game of Thrones. Like your little cousins, and
right.
even some of the older folk gonna be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Hell no, because
sister,
you know what I mean.
Sister Rhonda,
Chiefs come out,
you know, Game of Thrones.
But you put on that Mandalorian season 1 that very little dialogue, very little to try to
especially that first episode where it's just going.
Oh, it's gonna start. It rolled right away.
It's going.
It's kid friendly.
Yeah,
ain't no blood, ain't no nudity. No. It's just you can walk in, and easy to explain too. Doesn't require a lot of homework.
And it's perfect for that situation that you were just saying, because that's the second part. As the host or somebody with knowledge in that room, you could just be like, oh yeah, because does that look like Yoda? Yeah, it's from the Yoda species, but we don't really know what it is. And then, you can kind of like navigate through quick tidbits without overstepping what the show movie is about. Marvel is perfect at that as far as the movies, where you can get a quick line in and you ain't really overstep about what they're about to do. You don't got to rewind because you done talked over a part, because the whole thing is based on what they're saying. I think The Mandalorian is the only other thing from a TV show perspective that family can come over and you can just let play. Damn, I'm thinking about that one. Because right. Because you for most, like you say, adult kind of situation, you could probably throw in Game of Thrones. But you really can't throw that for Sister Rhonda. And you can't throw that if it's a Sister Rhonda in your family, and then you can't throw that on. Obviously, you got kids and all that. It's a lot of stuff happening in Game of Thrones.
It's a lot, man.
It's a lot of things happening in Game of Thrones.
It ain't for everybody, you know what I mean? Like,
no. And it shouldn't be, right? You should be looking, hey man, come on, my kids here, man. You can't.
Like, I don't know if it got the same. Yeah, like I don't know if it got the.
Put on Game of Thrones, you'd be like, right. We got kids here. Sorry,
kids running around.
We can't
do. I don't feel like having that conversation right here.
And they do
what is that?
They have sex in Game of Thrones.
Did he really cut his head off? It's like
cheeks get clapped in Game of Thrones. Like on screen with majorly stuff. Yeah, you can't. Nah, you can't.
First episode, it's that. Yeah, you know what's going on. Like that first when he pushed the old boy out of the.
Yeah.
Come on. So we know what Game of Thrones is, but it's that huddle around effect, man. That huddle around the TV effect, where all eyes is glued to the tube. Marvel movies, and I think you're right, man. Like as far as the shows go, Mandalorian, bro, gonna have everybody huddle around.
And I think about it, like it's the number one candidate if one could be, but it still ain't nothing like a Marvel movie. Especially like you say, you get around the Avengers of it all. But you damn near could throw any of them on that Infinity run and just throw it on. And
I'm gonna throw them all.
Strange could come on.
Yeah.
You could be like, we here.
Yeah.
We hear like different things happen. And we talking like, oh no, it's MCU, and it's like we talking about, I remember seeing that in the theater or such and such, and then you might give them some lines. I think you got your own point with that one. There's no other thing that, especially in that kind of like that space, it hit like if you throw an MCU movie on. Infinity Saga. Any of them. That's a lot of them too.
Especially the Infinity Saga, because in Infinity Saga, I'm watching just quick backstory, side story. I'm actually watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer right now. I'm trying to go back to Whedon, like Joss Whedon, like his the effect he had on Marvel. And I'm like, bro, you go back and watch them Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes, and you see where that witty banter that you see in the MCU, but I'm really saying MCU, but I'm really talking about the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Because that's where it permeated that entire saga, because he brought that to the game, like that witty back and forth banter between all these different characters. And you see the seeds of that was planted in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Where he make you actually like care about each character and everybody got like a line, everybody funny. You know what I mean? But they can be serious. It's like a range of emotions. Everybody got range. All these characters got range.
Yeah, he can channel that.
Yeah, that get people attention, bro. Because I was like making an observation. I'm just kind of like looking around the room during these Marvel movies, and man, that witty banter and that emotion when they had the happy, the funny parts, and then they had the sad parts. How people that get people attention and that keeps people's attention. And then I put on the episode of Buffy. Everybody watching that same thing, like damn, like it's like it's goofy as hell. Like it's straight 90s. Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to make Buffy
people speaking. No, you ain't. Because I probably need to I've seen a couple. Obviously, I ain't got to but I ain't seen.
It's goofy as hell. Series. You know what I mean? But it's like it's definitely dated. But it's also like damn, Joss Whedon good. I can't front on Joss Whedon. Pause. Like he good. Like he you see now, like man, I really was thinking like damn, what would the MCU been without Joss Whedon? You know what I mean? Like what would the entire I'm talking about the whole MCU, because he brought that with Avengers when they was let's get some shawarma. Like that's him. Like that's his effect.
I think they said what's the name of it? That was his line though.
It wasn't. Yeah, I guess he was.
But that's Downey. But like I think John, but because you know how many times people do that.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they like, man, I'll write what's on there. Say that's Downey. Like,
yeah, and I'm not giving all the credit to Josh. I'm just saying because Iron Man was funny.
But the environment, right?
Yeah. But that whole
because if you watch that, and then like you say, that's a good point. And then we got to give. I for whatever reason, I went on this wild thing about in our recent conversations. Our recent with kind of the history of our channel, our show. But I'm taking a lot of shots at Feige, right? Right, I have, and it's like I always say something about him, but it's like, I watched that thing with him and Favreau when he was talking about it was like the anniversary of Iron Man. I don't know if it was like the 15 year, whatever it was when it might have been 15 years last year, right? So like it's 2008, 2023. I think that's like a 15-year thing, and them talking. And what you're saying right now is kind of if I remember correctly. When they showed it at the theater, when they came out and they kind of like they said he stunk in the theater, whatever, and the thing that let them know that they was about to be popping is that how much people laugh. Like they thought it was like they knew they needed to infuse that humor in there, right? They needed it, but the right kind, and they knew they had something, right? When people were laughing, right? They were laughing. And then, like you say, they were in tune with the emotions or whatever was happening with that on those scenes. And like my point is, because Feige for all that, for whatever we want to say, because for all the shots I've taken at him, because it was kind of easy to take those kind of shots. But for those 30 movies, he knew like he never because people probably walked in and was like, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna do the Zack Snyder thing, right? I'm using Zack as an example. We're gonna come with this angle. It's like, nah, it's not what what T'Challa say. We don't do that here.
We don't do that.
He had to tell people we don't do that a lot of times. Like, nah, this is the you know what I'm saying? He had to because that was always a through line when they brought in the brothers, and that's probably the thing he saw in them when they were
doing Community. Parks and Rec,
Community.
Yeah. All right. So Community. I said Parks.
He's like, oh yeah. I like that y'all can do that. We can work on we can get the other stuff together. We got the story.
Yep.
But y'all could do something that I need to take on. Like I said, I don't got a Josh anymore. But y'all can do this. Come on in and see what we can do. Right. Because they all had that. You can watch them all like that. Like you say, up until let's just the Infinity Saga. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, up until like Spiderman, like Far From Home, maybe go all the way to No Way Home.
Cause even Far From Home got some lines in there.
Oh yeah,
please you've been in space. Nick Fury and all them.
Bitch, please, you've been in space.
Went to space.
Yeah,
and he's like, that whole thing where like you say, you can just let it run, and it was always a good time in the movies, like in the theater. Because all that stuff happened. You was laughing at the same time. You was quiet, like at the same time, like all that stuff, like the in unison, the audience, right? Like I love and this ain't a shot at it, but I love the last Batman movie, right?
Oh yeah.
When it finished, the entire theater just was clapping, like we gave it a round of applause. Nobody said nothing the entire movie.
Damn, that's a list right there.
It was
how many you been to where they clapped?
It was
how many
applause?
Like how many
round of applause is wild too. We finished that movie.
Yeah,
we finished that movie, and the entire theater clapped. That was a good back-to-back I had too. Pause. I think I went from that movie to the next movie I saw, because we're talking about pandemic here. I think the next movie I saw in the theater was No Way Home. I had to look at the calendar.
Oh, that's a hell of a back-to-back.
I either went from No Way Home to Batman, or I went Batman and No Way Home. I had to look at the calendar.
Yeah,
I think
that was around the same time.
Yeah. Like it might have been No Way Home first, and then the Batman. And that's what had me nervous when I was watching the Batman, right? Not nervous like for me, I liked it, but I'm like, man, this don't got that energy that No Way Home had, right? Now it was a different kind of movie, but it just didn't have that energy. No Way Home had it all. We was laughing.
Oh man,
we was celebrating.
Yeah, tragedy.
Yeah, it was tragedy.
Yeah,
people was crying. The girl
Suspense.
next to me bawling.
Yeah,
what happened to May and all that. All this, the suspense, the
intrigue,
all that, right?
Yeah.
Batman, it was just, and then at the end, it was like, round of celebrate, we I don't even know what to say. We clapped pause at the end of Spiderman, and we clapped at the end of Batman. But my point, going back to what I was originally saying, every MC movie up until No Way Home, Infinity Saga kind of deal was like that. That's what's the shocking thing when you started going and you went to something like I think the first one that like you really, because when you went to the theater and you could see the difference was Eternals, right? It just didn't have. It was a change.
It didn't pop the same. You're right.
It was a tone change, right? Because even that's why I always liked the Shang-Chi movie, because it still felt like an MCU movie. My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Eternals, and I think Shang-Chi came after Eternals, so that's what kind of was like, oh man, we remember we was joking about Shang-Chi, right? Like, but it was like it was after Eternals. Eternals was like, wait, what? That's different. That's not what I signed up for. Or my bad, it's not my muscle memory tells me that I know how it's gonna go when I go to an MCU movie, right? And that's a good,
that's a good way to put it.
It's like in the theater, because even I watched Black Widow at the crib, right? And I remember it being such a crappy day at work. Like I had a crappy day at work, and what made it so crappy was I had all this stuff happen, and we had a big project going on. It was like deadline time, and like people was like going past the deadline, and I'm sitting here. I already dropped to 30.
Damn.
I'm trying to watch this Black Widow movie because it was like, oh, we about to go watch Black Widow. And even though it don't go in the pantheon at all, like old girl was funny, right? She brought Pops was funny, right? I'm not comparing and saying it's as funny, but it still had those ties in there where it was like we rolling along. It's just not as good as but Eternals, man. That was a whew.
That's a good point, man. That's a good way to put it. Muscle memory, man. Like I think you made a good point. You bring up a good point about Eternals, because again, I'm always critical of Eternals, but one thing that is I noticed like the difference, like Shang-Chi stuck out. Pause. Like Shang-Chi, that was one of the few movies outside of the Infinity Saga that I put on that day, the other day when family was here, and people like. Again, same thing. It was just that range of emotion, even though it wasn't like quite that much. The sad part wasn't really there with Shang-Chi. It was. I guess his mom's passed, so it was there, but it was that whole range. Whereas with Eternals, like it was almost like Eternals didn't really earn it as much.
Yeah, it didn't.
Like it was there, it was present, but it was kind of like, but I don't know any of the journey that like. You know what I mean? Like I know even Shang-Chi, like I know his journey. You know what I mean? He explained it like, man, he had to get it out the mud. His dad turned him into a weapon, and then he moved to America and he became this, you know what I mean? Like you learn the story, and then So it's a payoff at the end where you like, oh, okay, I see how you got here, and I see now you got this relationship with your pops, and this is how you got here. Whereas Eternals, it was like so much going on. It was like, how did we get here? Like, why are we sad? Like, why we sad? And it really ain't that much smiling and laughing either. So
I don't remember. I'm trying to think. Like, all jokes aside, as you were saying, I'm definitely paying full attention to you. But I was trying to think, at what point did we laugh? I don't even remember like a funny thing that would have happened.
Yeah,
that happened in the movie where it was like,
oh boy, my bad. Oh boy was funny. I can't remember his name. The one cat. He was the one who could. He was like the Bollywood actor dude.
Oh yeah.
He had some.
His man's had him and his man's him because he had like the hanger on dude, the publicist kind of guy.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, they had a little.
I don't think I could have put the Eternals on though. I don't think I could have like.
No, and
I could have got away with Black Widow though.
You could have got away with Black Widow.
Could have got it. Yeah,
could have got away with
They got action in it, comedy. You know what I mean? There's some emotion in there with the family and knowing. You know,
you could have played Black Widow.
Yeah, I should have played Black Widow. I could have.
Yeah, that's a good. Hey, that's a good category. Like,
can I let it roll? You know what I mean?
You always do your MCU rankings and all this and all that, but then it's like, what's your gathering rankings? That's right. You got people over. Like you trying to holiday season. You know, but it's summer because it ain't like like Thanksgiving. You could have football playing and all kind of things have Thanksgiving. Christmas and all that. But we talking about summer.
Yeah,
right?
The gathering
ain't really like that. So it's like.
Yeah.
So it's like your gathering rankings. Black Widow it goes in the gathering rankings.
It's up there. I think comedy, action.
Yeah, you can play Black Widow. Black Widow come on TV, like you do the TBS or the FX on the Saturday or something. Look at the TV.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch.
It's like
Black
Widow go in the gathering rankings because it got all that. Got the fam, got because that, like you say, that conversation at the table was real because she said it was real to me.
Yeah,
with Yelena.
Yeah, that was like a big thing for her. Yeah, she was like, hey man, that's my family. That's all I had. I like that conversation. That's one of my favorite scenes from that movie. Yeah.
The whistle and all that. Even when to the point we get to Widow had that callback line. Because there's a lot of things I was mad about them. Man, I was like, damn, we didn't get Hawkeye in there. Like that moment when they was in Budapest. Like, call that back.
Yeah.
But they called the one line back when she was like, when she had Loki with the thank you for your cooperation, Capelon, and she threw that back at Red Room Runner, whatever his name was. I forget his name. Dracoff.
Like,
yeah. So did I like Taskmaster? No, I didn't. Not one bit. But
a great villain, no.
It's a gathering movie.
Yeah, it's an action movie.
I guess it's more gathering. Okay. I said one movie earlier, and I'm gonna say this movie was more gathering than that. Black Widow was more gathering than Doctor Strange.
Easy. Sorry, easy. Yeah, in my opinion,
it's not close.
It's not close. It's not. They don't have Who's the comic relief in Doctor Strange? Really, Doctor Strange. And to me, in my opinion, Doctor Strange not funny. They tried to make him funny, like in Multiverse of Madness.
He was funny as the straight guy.
Yes, he's ironic. When he was in No Way
Home, his shit was funny compared to
he had one-liners in No Way in Multiverse of Madness. Like he was trying to like fire him off, like, oh,
he was.
You guys charging
the 60 funnier than him.
It's like
Wong funnier than him.
Yeah, Wong is funny.
Wong funnier than him.
Wong is funny. Like Wong was like, I wouldn't turn down that one about He's like, all right, I guess I'll get you a metaphysical ham and cheese or something. He's like, all
right. See, that's what Strange can get it is when he playing like him and Tony, they banter back and forth with him. Okay, we good. Yeah. That's a good chemistry they got. But you can't play if it's Widow or Black Doctor Strange and people over, Widow getting played.
Widow going over. I'm
choosing Widow.
That's a good one, man.
Gathering situation.
See if I can pull up two more, man. Like say for instance, all right. So like Shang, she was up there. What's another one, man? That I put on? Because I could have put on Multiverse of Madness, man. I would have put that one on before I put Doctor Strange on.
Facts.
I put on Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Big hit, huge hit. I'm talking about people watched the whole 3 hours, sat down, watched it, was fixated on it, was eating, watching it. Yeah. Because it got everything, man. The comedy, so that one was up there because people was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Always, especially with the stuff at the end, man, like, you know. But and that ain't even the best, like that ain't for that event, for that particular setting, that's not even the best one out of the trilogy.
Because that's where my mind went.
The first 2 is like smashing out.
Which one? Because I didn't know.
I really could have played the
world. I really didn't know the world didn't feel the same way I felt about Volume 2 until we talked, and then I was then like, you know, like then Big Brother listening, and they let me know like, oh no, you bugging. Even though I still feel the same way, but like, no, you bugging. It's not that one. I'm like, damn. Yeah. But if I had people over now that knowing what I know now, if I had a gathering. And I got to pick one of the 3. My first one is to go the second movie. That's what I'm like. I would play number 1, but I'm like, oh yeah, we when number 2 come on, we really about to get in. And I feel like I might be the only one that's actually sitting down compared to like maybe the first one. That's a gut. I don't know which one. Which one would you pick out of the trilogy
Start
to be
off with?
the one? I guess you're gonna play 1, 2, 3. But what's the one that's gonna be like? That's the one out of the trilogy that's gonna like get people attention. That's the Gather movie. That's the number 1 Gather movie in the trilogy.
To be honest, I gotta stick with 3 because 3 got like that. What I noticed was like that uneasiness of you don't know what's gonna happen with Rocket, and then they kind of going back into his backstory. Like that, it surprised me. Like, granted, I wish I could have played 2 because like you said, like I want to see how you know, because that's the thing. You don't get that back and forth between the 2 sisters, right? Between Gamora and Nebula. So I was saying hindsight 2 would have been that one where you like
but hold on though, because I think number 3 is the Gathering one, just for that thing because number 2 had too much of that going on. Peter and his father. Which one like Peter and his father, Gamora and what's her name? The sister. I know her name and I can't remember her name now. Blue girl.
Nebula.
Gamora and Nebula. Like, which through line am I kind of following as far as the emotional baggage that I need to be assigned to, where it was focused on Rocket? And they did a perfect thing with the when you throw the animals in there too, right? Like to go back.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you know, Rocket's youth and then going forward and going back and then Rocket's out. I think the Gather movie is 3.
I think so, and I kind of talk.
Even though I think Drax hella funnier too. I think
you talk me back into it. Yeah, no, because you're right. Also, the villain.
Yeah.
Man, first of all, I don't think he got enough credit, man.
Yeah.
I really, because it's just how the MCU is right now, man. We kind of nothing is really talking to each other the same way it did, so we don't know what happened. Like nobody really knows his fate, what happened to him. They say he alive.
My bad. I didn't touch it.
No, you're right.
It goes from like, does this save the MCU versus the MCU is trash, as opposed to like, this was the story of the movie.
Yeah, this was a great performance, great movie.
What did he tour? Gunn was on his victory tour lap, not his fault, but it was his victory lap that he was doing, and they were talking more about all that stuff actually than the movie.
And like Thanos cast a big shadow, right? As like the MCU villain. Remember that? Remember that used to be the thing. The narrative is like, the MCU can't do villains.
Yeah.
And then Thanos finally came along. Now it's kind of like they don't even like say that anymore. But we don't really take a minute to look like, wait a minute, this dude was good too. This dude in this Volume 3 movie, man.
You about to maybe watch that, man.
He was so he was so cruel, like needlessly cruel about everything.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the best performances in my opinion, man. I might put him in the top. Like in terms of villains, I got him in my top 5 at least. Like High Evolutionary, man. Bro, the way he was just talking to Rocket, man, and the way he reacted to Rocket, just he had everything going on. He was just the ultimate villain, bro. Like he it wasn't no redemption, wasn't nothing redeeming about this dude. But
yeah,
in this case, it worked. Like it was like he, you know what I mean? They understood how to you know, it was just the cruelty, man. Not just the cruelty to animals. He, even when they can talk back to him, he was like, this world ain't for you. I'm not, I don't care about what you are. Like, just the way, to me, we didn't get enough of that with Thanos. We didn't get enough of the fact that he knew he was a god and he can like flick you away, even with all the stones. We didn't get quite enough of him just talking to people, letting them know I can just flick you away with one finger.
Yeah.
The High Evolutionary, we got that, man. We understood that this dude really saw himself as a higher being, as a higher life form than everybody else. You know, to me, I just felt like that, like we got that more than we got in other villains.
You raise a good point, a great point, because they did, and again, this ain't a jab at what they did. Thanos was incredible, but they did such a great job of portraying him as a threat.
Yeah, as a looming threat.
Sometimes when they say
physically,
what the MCU gotta have, you gotta have the threat, and you might miss the story of the villain, the what that, because you might not be viewing them as like us right now, you know, how the discourse go around it, where it's like we gotta have Galactus or we gotta have Doom, and of course we do, right? But then when you get somebody like the High Evolutionary, you might miss the appreciate, you might not be able to, you might miss appreciating what they brought to the table because they're not a looming threat, because we think we need that now.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to what this, you could miss it. Not to make it that deep, but at the end of the day, you could miss with that person in terms of like the discussion, right? Like, oh, okay, yeah, he was cool, but he wasn't Thanos. But Thanos, he was so much threat. There's probably even more levels of that, because you know Thanos is more than that. What we got, and what we got was incredible, but he's more than that,
right?
Right? He's more than that. Hell, we only even saw him use hands that one time, just in hands when he smacked Hulk up. Like, I guess smacking Hulk is enough, right? In terms of like
yeah, we knew right.
Body somebody.
Basically, we knew he was putting in work. We didn't, in my opinion, we didn't get like quite like the mastermind behind everything. Like, you know, I'm 10 steps ahead of everybody. We understood that, but I don't know. Maybe we, I go back and look at everything again. But yeah, I felt like we could have got more of that. Like you said, it's not a knock on that. I mean, they did he the best out. He the GOAT, you know what I mean, in terms of villains. So,
but can we see it? Can we see it from another, as fans, right? Or can we see it from another like we should? Can we see it from another angle, that what somebody else brings to the table?
Right.
Because can't be like you say that looming threat. You know, like if they do Doom, when they do Doom, right? Yeah. Can he be more than just a looming threat?
Yeah.
Right. Like what he brings to the table. He not, we talking about, like you say, masterminds.
Yeah.
This is as good as it get.
He gotta be like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he gotta, yeah. He can't be, yeah. He can't be Ultron.
Like Thanos. Exactly. Because like Thanos is hella tactical. But do we really get that? Right. We get him. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna complete my mission.
Yeah. Yeah. We understand his
I'm gonna talk slick. I'm gonna do all that, because nobody talks slick MCU in like MCU Thanos.
Yeah, I'm gonna threaten people.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you all that.
Yeah.
But can you appreciate? And again, there's no knock, because he was incredible. But like the appreciation of how tactile he could be. And can they, like, so when we get to Doom, yes, he could do all this nice, but are we gonna be able to like walk on like, man? And is that something that, when they look at like, and we can show all that, but does that, people gonna get it, right? The people at the gathering that you sitting around, like, man, Doom is smart. Like, they really want to just know, can he wreck shit?
He's a
right?
Mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah, they really want to know.
They don't want to see the work being put in. Like, what do we got lightning shooting out his fingers? Do we, what exactly is his power set and all this? And can he throw people around? Can he choke Hulk out and all that? Yeah.
You watch Infinity
War? That's what you wonder about. Yeah.
You watch Infinity War and Endgame? He took them all on.
Yeah.
Plus some. And was knocking people out. I think he slumped Black Panther and Cap, like, and Wakanda. I think he slumped both of them.
Then he do the move on. Then he like like Cap jumped on him and he like slammed him, got on top of him and like hit him with a quick like
he went and took him out. Slapped him.
through Danvers across the field like a frisbee, just like a boomerang, just
went to Vision and was just like, come on, give me them shits, man.
Her like a
run your jewels, man.
Yeah, man.
What we gonna do?
Crazy work on the field, man. Like he was hands on, man. You know, but yeah, do they have time to really show that mastermind, man? They tried to do that with Kang. You know, they tried to do that. Now Kang look like they about to just sort of maybe ignore him and move on. Can you do that with a Galactus? By the way, we didn't talk about that. You saw they cast Galactus.
Yeah.
Good actor. I forgot his name exactly, man. He was in I've seen him in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, really well about. I did.
Great voice. He was in a movie called The Green Knight. And if you hear his voice in The Green Knight, you understand like, oh, he gonna be a perfect Galactus. Especially if they like, because you know a lot of that work is gonna be like voice work.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got a good actor for that. For this role. So
yeah, but
I just don't know. Can we get that though?
Begs the question though, that when you would kind of, because I think we talked about that even with the Kang. We brought that up like that. Just probably, again, they put their eggs in, the basket, so to speak, on and it didn't work out, right? But ultimately, like, is it a bullet dodge? Where it's like, well, we need to do this because we need a new Thanos, and they were going to do Kang like Thanos. And it was like, you probably just got to do it a different way. Like, you still make him you do whatever you do, you got to make him a threat, but kind of a different way, right? And it was people that we got before. I mean, we got Loki before we got Thanos, right? I know Thanos had the in credit. They knew Thanos was coming, but we had Loki.
That's a great example.
Skull, bro.
That's another great example. Yeah. Those are more mustache twirly guys, but in a good way. Like, like Loki was.
They were charismatic. They were charismatic. They were engaging.
And they got an arc too, where you like, you're like, damn, how'd you get here? Like, you see what Loki is. He feeling like he the son, he don't belong, and you find out he actually is an outsider. And he was wondering all this time, why am I different from everybody else? And, why did he always pick Thor over me? And but he also got this sense of entitlement, like I'm the true king. I should have been the one, So that's
glorious.
That's a good point, man. That's good. We didn't really get that with Thanos, man. He got that scene in Infinity War where he like explained like where he come. This is the planet I come from. This planet. This is how I got this way. I try to tell everybody they wasn't. But we don't really know what Thanos was like as a kid and how his dad treated him. And
remember when Eternals was coming out, it was like, oh, it was Eternals, and then like they had the post credit with the Harry Styles dude, and it was like, oh, we might get some of that. We might get that Thanos action.
It was
like,
but even there was rumors saying he was going to be in it. That he was a younger version of him was in it.
Because he kind of was part celestial, right? Or he had that gene or something. But at the end of the day, the thing is, we went to Thanos. So Thanos was a looming threat, but there was like people, even though they say about the MCU not making great villains, there were people that was along the way. So the parts that maybe didn't get filled out, like you from a point of saying like we didn't get that kind of backstory, a lot of that stuff with Thanos, we got it with others, right? As it was going along. And in this, how they were going, we just went straight to Kang, right? Like we here, hey, everybody, we're going Kang, and then maybe some of the people and then a lot of other people were in shows and a lot of things of that nature, but it was like, we're going to Kang so that some of the people that were showing up and go back to the High Evolutionary was like, this is the farewell song for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just talking about from a discourse standpoint, from a conversation standpoint, the shout out standpoint, High Evolutionary not getting it because they had already set their site picture a certain way. And it was just already a site picture a certain way. And it was like, okay, we here, we came. It's all came. So you can probably miss and on their part, like they're not presenting it to you. Like, people getting we going here. It was like we getting a lot. Was my man Black Panther, Killmonger? Yes. Was it some BS along the way? Yes.
Yeah.
But
we did
the other part of the movie it's made us right? Like, did we like Ego? No, but we like we like the Drax, and we like Peter, and we like all the stuff that was happening with them, right? I think the only one, even though I like the movie a lot, I think the only one where everything met, where it was like the villain didn't hit, probably with the movie, is the Thor second movie.
Yeah, the Dark World.
Dark
World.
Thor,
Dark World.
Movie and the
That's
villain.
a good point.
Yeah,
he the worst villain. Yeah,
we don't
even
have
though
that,
I've grown to like that movie.
And we don't supersede it with such a great story of the movie. Was like, the villain was but hey,
Whiplash is like,
whip up there. Even though I really like Iron Man 2, but I'm sure other people will be like, that ain't Dark World ain't the only one. Iron Man 2 is probably the same way.
But no, don't let me.
My man had the suitcase. My man had the suitcase Iron Man.
No. Let me pull it back. Because I don't want to. I don't want to. No, you're right.
Some people would say that about Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Dark World definitely, that's definitely the worst. And don't get me wrong, like they not really close. I just threw Whiplash out there. Nah, Dark World, Dark Elves, him and his little henchman dude, they so forgettable, bro. I can't even remember their name right now. Malekith and I don't know who his henchman was.
I can't remember his man's.
Very forgettable. Yeah, just not. Nah.
And the movie don't stick out. I've grown because I like what it means for the Infinity Saga, but the movie don't stick out. I'll give anyone that. Like, you right. It don't.
I'm not about to argue against. Wherever you rank it, I'm pretty much gonna be like, all right. As long as you don't put it under certain movies, I'm gonna be like, I got you.
Yeah,
right.
It
don't
stick
that
kind of blend. So that kind of like, so some movies with the bad villains, or people call it less than spectacular villains, but the movie was so good, right? Or the other parts of it was so good that it compensates for the lack of villain.
That's a good point. Speaking of Thor, we'll talk about a movie that got rejected, Love and Thunder.
Yes.
That movie is so dumb.
Oh, it got rejected at the Gathering?
They couldn't watch it.
It's so bad.
They was like, it was like, first of all, nobody laughed. It made it up until the point where Sif is like, she was like, I like to die here and walk into the halls of Valhalla. And he like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, yo. Sorry. You lived, so maybe your arm is in Valhalla. And when I tell you, bro, everybody looked at me.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you know what? Somebody was like, this is stupid. I was like, you're right. This is the dumbest movie out of the MCU. And I just turned it off. I cut it off at that point. They couldn't watch it. It couldn't. Yeah. Nobody thought it was funny. It's so goofy, man. Like, you can't watch it, bro. Like, people can't watch it. It's terrible. Like,
the Gathering movie. It's bad altogether.
It's so dumb, bro. Yeah. It's like Ragnarok is different because it's like funny, but it's like upbeat and it's up tempo, it's action, it's going, and it's like just enough of both, so I mean, what do you say, son of a bitch, I forgot his name. I saw Serta, right? Yeah.
Oh, it was that. Obviously, that's early in the movie.
Bitch.
But when that happened, because I'm like, what the hell is Thor? I'm in the theater. I'm like, Thor sitting here with he did, because and I always go long. You sit there and you watch Civil War. That's the movie for Civil War and all that. And I know Thunderbolt Ross was like, where's Thor? Where's Banner? If I lost a couple such and such nukes, I have to answer for that. And they never showed up. Right?
They did.
Yeah. And it's strategic, obviously financial, but then it's strategic too. Like, them boys can't show up. What they was doing, they would have destroyed the whole city.
Oh, it was some balancing done in that movie.
Yeah, they couldn't show up.
Yeah, it would have been some balance.
Storyline wise, it's good that they didn't show up, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, then obviously they had their movie together.
Yeah,
fucking dope.
That was the point.
Think about it.
It is.
That's really dope. But when that movie started, and you asking, I'm like, damn, why wasn't Thor? Thor wasn't in Civil War. Now he telling us why. Hey, I'm Infinity Stones. He giving us the backstory about why he wasn't there immediately. And then he's talking to this damn skeleton. I'm like, damn, what the hell's going on here, man? Oh, here we go. But then when he said that line of Surtur, like, he said, son of a, and he was like, son of a bitch. I thought you were dead. I'm like, okay, yeah. Okay. That brought me in, like, okay, we about to see some things. And then Scourge doing this thing. But that's like right. That's a good, because that got everything in there.
Yeah, it got the music,
talented, funny, the music,
action,
right.
set pieces. It's CGI, like it's explosions, chases, everything to keep people's attention, man.
And even though canonically it's not the follow-up movie, like if you look at the MCU timeline order, it's not the follow-up movie, but it was a Guardians of the Galaxy movie it was a Thor.
Yeah, oh yes.
And I think that's how it released. I think it went Guardians of the Galaxy than Thor, but even though timeline wise, it's not.
You talking about Ragnarok?
Yeah, like from a canon, the movie timeline.
And Love and Thunder was too, even though I don't think it. Yeah, it preceded Volume 3, but it felt like a or at least they sold it that way. But yeah, it kind of felt like, because they start off with the Guardians of the Galaxy. But you're right though. You're right. Your original point. You're right. It did feel like it was
because Thor wasn't funny like in the movies, like, and then like it was like funny. It was a funny movie. Like the first two wasn't funny.
He always had like little hints of comedy. Yeah, he always had it was little hints there where he was like, where she was like, he killed 3,000 or 30,000 people or whatever. Like he killed 100 people. He's adopted, like he always had little jokes. He ain't take himself, but he also was like serious about a lot of stuff. He was like, he had that Shakespearean effect on the movies, but he always did drop like little jokes, but he 100%, he wasn't nowhere near what he was. And
let me say the tone. Let me say the tone of the movie, right? Like absolutely. The tone of the movie around where it's like got the Ragnarok, and it was like if I had a gathering, the Thor movie I'm playing like, oh yeah. I know Ragnarok in the Gathering.
That's the go-to.
It's in the Gathering one, right? If I went out with his, all the Spider-Man's a Gathering. You can throw any Spider-Man that he's ever done. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man. Yeah, can't go wrong with any one of those. So he almost excluded from the conversation.
Oh yeah,
for the fact that it's
Spider-Man. And I played the TASM movies.
Yeah,
and they watched both of them.
Yeah.
So it was like,
remember in the first one,
any Spider-Man they can watch.
I think he had got shot, and he was like he needed to go across, and then they started moving the cranes.
Yeah,
damn, man,
that was a cool. Hey, cranes, very underrated, bro. When he
that was the first one, right?
Yeah, that was the first one. Because they remember him saving him on the bridge. It was like the dude. He was like the foreman or whatever. He was the head of the cranes or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember you saved my son." So he went ahead and helped them out. And again, not perfect movies.
No,
not the greatest movies. And again, that's one of those. I'm not gonna argue if you got them the last out of all those Spider-Man movies. Those are the last two, even under Spider-Man 3. I'm not gonna argue with you there. But you're right, man. All those movies you can play. You can play the gap.
You can't go wrong at a gap.
Can't go wrong with a Spider-Man movie, man. All of them, bro.
Any of them. And it's almost from the conversation. Like if we were doing the rankings, it wouldn't be fair because I read because that's like almost like we in the bubble. Yeah, you get the people outside the bubble, and then like what's the true measurement, right?
Right. Because we got to
outside
start
the
there.
Bubble, or the people inside the bubble that's like feel like they know everything about it, right? Like if it's just like you know what the one you should be watching, where I may be, where it's like. If I tell you that, even though I like it way more now, and I liked it when I first seen it, I fell off the movie from like a ranking standpoint, and then now I got it ranked high again. I'm telling you, if I had a gathering, I know out of the Cap movies is Civil War.
Yeah,
Civil War is the Cap movie. I mean,
I played that one. I played Civil War too. Yeah,
it's the Avengers movie. Like
it is, man. It's Avengers 2.5.
And they got Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
So you play it. It's like just let it play. You don't even gotta.
Caught that punch like what? At his arm like what? Yeah, Civil War is that one, man.
You don't have to explain like where my favorite of all favorites is Winter Soldier, but there's explaining, even though Marvel movies are easy, there's explaining that has to happen a little bit in there, probably way more way more than it will be with Civil War. Civil War, we know what it is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then we got this guy that's playing them both.
That's a great point because you're right, man. That Civil War movie doesn't center so much around Cap.
No.
To where questions is asked. Because if you play Winter Soldier, it's like, damn, wait a minute. Wasn't he in the 50s or 40s? What? Like people get the decade wrong. Wasn't he? I'm like, yeah, that was in the pre that he went in the ice. It's like, well, how did he get hit? It's like, you know what?
And you go into when Zolam is talking to him on the computer.
Yeah, they don't know what
that was the.
What's that? The Civil War is more. It's an event, like you said. It's an Avengers movie without the metahumans.
FedEx.
You know what I mean? It's what it is. Nobody got except for Spider-Man, but it's like, yeah, it's just it's an Avengers movie featuring Spider-Man where you like, oh damn, like Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's so much more grounded than the other movies because Winter Soldier got this whole conspiracy going on.
Yeah.
Where they like, wait a minute, Shield is the villains? You like, nah,
yeah, they've been infiltrated since that much long.
Yeah. Then they asking all those questions. But you're right, man. You turn on Civil War, it's such an action movie, it's such an Avenger movie. I got all these. Up. Yeah, Hawkeye show up.
Yeah, you can't lose with any of that. You got Wanda and all them. A good thing about, because I wanted to bring this up about when we was talking about obviously with The Gathering. And you look at a movie like that's hard to probably follow because it was so different when you go to Eternals and they got a bunch of people in there. And I know, like you made the point about Civil War was not all about Cap, but Cap is still the through line of the movie.
Oh yeah,
like you can I've lost sight of that sometimes. So I'm like, no, that game wasn't a Cap movie, but Cap is still the through line.
Oh yeah, it's his decision.
The shit that he got. Yeah, it's his decision.
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
he broke up the Avengers.
Yeah, Steve broke the Avengers up.
Yeah,
it's the decisions he made. He making calls, right? Like Tony not making his calls. He's going against Tony, so he's the through line where it was like, and with all those people, with all this stuff that was happening, I always thought that's what they did really good. The two parts where it was like the final two movies, right? The Endgame, the Infinity War with Endgame, right? The difference in those two, where it was like they did these like different pockets. So every time we went to that pocket, it was about that pocket, right? So when it was like the beginning, it was about Thor, right? That was his pocket. It was the whole Thor part of it. Then Tony, when Tony showed up with Strange and all them, that was there. So we got when you look at the timeline of how long everybody was in the movie, and some of those people weren't in the movie longer than 20 minutes, right? So it never felt chaotic from a standpoint like who I should be following, because you only follow in these pockets. Guardians of the Galaxy had their pocket. And then when we got to Endgame, right? And even though we was following that crew, it still was really about Tony and Steve up until we got
the two
up until we got to the end. It was like
and the way that
they drove it.
Yeah.
Right. It was the original kind of cast, and with a heavy lean about them two, right? Them two, and then we got everybody back, and then we can get back all into the action and all this and all that. Whereas you got the Eternals, and I don't know if you can tell me, this ain't, again, we've done all the reviews and all that. We're just talking about the story, and you would have a gathering. Who am I following?
That's a good point.
You didn't even set nobody up in the movie to be my favorite character,
hook, right? Who's the hook? Who am I like? Yeah, who can I look at and say, oh, that's my person. Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like, oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who's that guy where it's like, oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah.
I'll tell you, the first Avengers movie, like Hulk did it for me, right? Banner did it for me. But you can tell me, if you told me almost any other person in there, especially outside, like when you get to Tony or Nick, because it was really Nick's movie, right? When you break it down, but you could go Fury, Tony, you go multiple people in that movie, and be like, that's my favorite person out of that character. I don't think Eternals, I think they missed, beyond all the things they were trying to do, they missed a through line person or people that we would have been, regardless of how the movie went. I didn't like the movie on that, but that was the person I was with. And none of them were in the movie. It wasn't the fast girl. It wasn't my man that looked like dude from Big Bang Theory. None of them was like that. It wasn't Salma.
Shang-Chi, when the fake Mandarin showed up, I was like,
yeah.
Hey. Like, yeah, even when he showed up, I know that guy. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, that's
he said to DiCaprio, like, hey.
That's the guy. Like, that's a good point, man. Every movie pretty much got that. You're right, man. Of course, Black Widow, man. We know Widow in there. I'm just trying to kind of go over the movies, phase 4 and beyond. Some of the movies that kind of like failed to live up to the Infinity Saga. Doctor Strange got all these characters in it. Multiverse of Madness is what I meant. Got all these characters in it. That's a good ass point, man. Who's that character that you like?
Who's the one that we were like? That's my character. Internals
didn't have it, man.
Too many people, like you can't use that as an excuse. Like the too many people was like you got to take. You have to lead me. You should be whoever the villain is. You should be lead me to that person, and then there's the antagonist, protagonist kind of deal.
Somebody, no, they had one. It just didn't. Yeah,
they have to like. But we have to like.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, they had the main character was basically old girl,
and they didn't do a good. They did a terrible.
We didn't
know
who the hell. Yeah,
that. You mean Cersei or whatever her name.
Cersei,
yeah, but she didn't even. She wasn't even like. I almost was following the Angelina Jolie story.
Yeah, right.
But they didn't really lean into that.
Nah, they should have though.
Right.
Yeah,
so it was like as they was going, it was like, okay, is it her? But we didn't even do the thing to make us, because she had no like non-endearing qualities, but we didn't do anything to make her this the one, this the leader, this the winner, this is the one.
They didn't earn it.
None of that happened. So it was just like 6 people. Or however many they had. It was just 6 people like doing different things.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, wait a minute.
It was just a different thing that they had never done. And no comic relief, but like you say, they tried to do your boy. But it was like, okay, but it wasn't. And when we say comic relief, that sounds slapsticky. But like, it was always something. Because like, even like you say, your boy in Shang-Chi, fake Mandarin.
But
hit
funny.
His homegirl that he should have got had her.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first one. Yeah, exactly.
She was in there the whole time doing that.
From the first time you see her.
Yeah.
She jump in the car, like, funny.
And
that movie grew on me too, man.
It was over their grandma's house, and they all with the moms, and like you need the brother, like it was just
she was like
that going on.
You could be like your big sister one day or something like that. She had that line like you're right, man.
Do that.
Yeah, she was the first one. Like she stuck out immediately. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the comedy right there. That's somebody I can. I'm laughing at her. Like, then you got the Shang-Chi try to, he trying to fit in, but they playing off of each other. And then you get Shang-Chi with the action and all that. You're right, man. Eternals is just they doing stuff, and you like, and then they got regrets in the movie, and they sad, and it's flashbacks, but you like, why should I care? I don't care about these people. It never earns anything. It's just, again, I always criticize them last 2 moments where he telling you this stuff about old girl, but it's like, I didn't see none of that. You've always tried to clip her wings and all this, and it's like, bro, I'm in the movie theater. Like, when did this happen? It's just, they never earned it, man. Like, you're right, man. That movie might have failed at more things than any of the other movies, man. Even Captain Marvel, Danvers, she wasn't like, she had no personality, but you had old boy, man. He was the villain. He was at first. You thought he was the villain. What's the scroll name? The head scroll, Mendelssohn's character. What's
we talking about? Not the first or the second?
Scroll, the science. He's more science guy.
Oh, it's my science.
What's his name?
Talos.
Talos was funny. Where you like, damn, he had jokes.
Oh
yeah.
Talos. Yeah, Nick Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury was cracking jokes.
That was. I'm looking on the second one. Like, that one. Like, I wouldn't even like. It still had the DNA.
Yeah.
It had the DNA. I would garner to say beyond the, because we did all the reviews, but we talking about DNA of MCU. There are more movies like Eternal stick out, but I probably could name other movies within that like just didn't have the DNA. BP2 didn't have the DNA.
There
right?
You go.
It didn't have the DNA. One, I think we all went in, especially when we watched that trailer. That trailer was beautiful, right?
Oh man.
Like I bet we all think if all Coogler had it, and Coogler the man, and he had a lot of things going on, but Mom should have been the through line the entire movie, even if she didn't make it, right?
That's a good point.
Mom should have been the through line the entire through. My man M'Baku should have been just like he was in the first one, right?
That's a good point.
And the sister had different parts in the first one, but Mom should have been a through line. Actually, as I sit here today, I'd have been way better if she would have put the suit on.
Oh, man,
I would have been way better today.
Because it ain't like she ain't got the gravitas, right?
Angela had that.
Clearly the best actor in the entire.
Yes.
I would rest RIP Chad. He was the star, man. When he was, once it came to that second movie, she was the best actor on screen.
Yeah.
She had the most gravitas. Can you imagine, bro, she'd have put the suit on? Even if you kind of like tease or fake out the death, and she like laying there and they like, we got to put the suit on you to save you, and she come out of the water with the suit
just to get through this movie.
Yeah,
she just to get through
and not piss people off, by the way, because
most powerful nation. When she said that speech, and I'm just the most powerful nation, right? We the most powerful nation, and she gave that speech, and she would have put it on, even if she didn't make it through the end, right? And it was going to get passed on, right? But she would have put it on, and then you build again. I can't tell Ryan how to do movies, right? But then
I just got more upset about the movie. Yeah.
But then you build, because it's not a gather movie, right? It probably is. But for me, it's not a gather movie. But But then you build the stuff around that, right? You build the stuff around that now we get to the DNA of it, like like somebody gonna break the ice kind of person. No, it wasn't for the time. It wasn't meant to be. So, but you still got to have those elements. I paid $21.50 with the IMAX charge to go see it. So I still need someone. I need that MCU DNA. But going back to my point, I think we can go and look at when we look at it. I think we can look at those movies of not having the movies probably more frequently than not through that run. They just one of the things like the DNA wasn't there.